Let's not sugarcoat it. Manchester United's 2024-25 season has been absolutely chaotic, but not in the way fans expected. Sure, there have been some historically bad moments, but weirdly, there's also been a flicker of something promising, something bold happening quietly under the radar. So what's really going on? The reality is the team's been walking two very different paths this season: domestic disappointment and European redemption. And to understand the full story, you've got to look at both sides of this split-screen narrative. Let's rewind a bit. The season kicked off with Erik still at the helm, trying to rally the team after a lukewarm 2023-24 finish. But the Premier League campaign quickly spiraled out of control. Performances were flat, tactics seemed stale, and the injury list grew longer with every match week. It wasn't just that United were losing, they looked lifeless doing it. There was no fight, no structure, no belief. The kind of performances where fans would just stare blankly at the screen, wondering, how did we end up here again? By late October, the club had hit a breaking point. After slipping to 14th in the Premier League, Ten Hag was shown the door on October 28, 2024. The timing felt abrupt, but honestly, not many were shocked. The energy around Old Trafford had become toxic, and a reset was badly needed. The dressing room was fractured, confidence was at an all-time low, and even the fans who had once defended Ten Hag had started calling for change. Performances weren't just poor, they were predictable. Opponents came to Old Trafford without fear, knowing exactly how to exploit United's weaknesses. The players looked lost, the system outdated, and the urgency simply wasn't there. It was clear to everyone watching, something had to give. That's when Rúben Amorim entered the picture. Now, Amorim was never going to be a safe choice. This is a manager known for tactical boldness, a sharp football brain, and most importantly, a clear identity. But here's the catch. He walked into absolute chaos. A mid-season takeover during one of the busiest periods of the football calendar. No preseason, no warm-up, just tossed straight into the fire and told, fix it. He didn't even have the luxury of a full week to introduce his methods before matches came thick and fast. Training sessions weren't about tactics, they were about survival. Every few days, it was another must-win game, another injury, another lineup change. The squad was mentally and physically drained, and he had to find a way to inject belief into a dressing room that hadn't tasted consistency in months. It wasn't just about tactics, it was about psychology, about culture, about getting the basics right. And yet, through all that chaos, something started to shift. And let's be real, it hasn't been smooth sailing in the league. The losses kept piling up. In fact, by May 2025, United had already broken an unwanted club record. 15 defeats in a single Premier League season. That's never happened before in the Premier League era. But if you're only looking at the league, you're missing the other half of the story, the Europa League run. Under Amorim, United have quietly turned into giants in Europe. The team is unbeaten in the competition since he took over. There's a level of discipline, confidence, and tactical structure that just hasn't translated domestically yet. And maybe the clearest turning point was that unforgettable quarterfinal against Lyon. United were staring down the barrel, 4-2 down in extra time, just 7 minutes left on the clock. Most fans had already braced themselves for another collapse, but then something clicked. Bruno Fernandes buried a penalty to pull one back. Moments later, Casemiro delivered a brilliant ball to Kobbie Mainoo, who slotted it home to level the score. And in a final jaw-dropping moment, Casemiro whipped in a cross for Harry Maguire, who powered in a header to make it 5-4. The scenes were unreal. The aggregate finished 7-6, and it felt like a vintage United comeback, a reminder of what this club is capable of when the lights are brightest. In extra time against Lyon, United were 4-2 down on aggregate, and honestly, most fans thought it was over. But then Bruno Fernandes stepped up and nailed a penalty, and suddenly there was belief. Casemiro found Mainoo for the equalizer, and just minutes later whipped in a perfect ball for Maguire to head home the winner. Final score, 5-4 on the night, 7-6 on aggregate. It was pure chaos in the best way and classic Manchester United drama. That win didn't just send United into the semifinals, it set the stage for a massive clash against Athletic Bilbao. And then came the semi-final, United versus Athletic Club. What was billed as a tight, gritty contest turned into a demolition. In Bilbao, United were ruthless and they left with a stunning 3-0 win. Cold, clinical, the second leg at Old Trafford. More of the same. Bilbao showed spirit, but United smelled blood and closed the tie with a 4-1 victory. 7-1 on aggregate. Total domination. Suddenly, this wasn't just a good run, it was a statement. Amorim's team didn't sneak into the final, they earned it. And let's give credit where it's due. Bruno Fernandes has been sensational in this European campaign. When the team needs a leader, he's shown up. Whether it's goals, assists, or just dragging the team by the collar and forcing them to care, he's doing it. Casemiro has also bounced back from early season doubts to become a rock again. It's clear Amorim values his experience and composure, especially in those tight, high-stakes knockout matches. One name that's emerged big time? Amad Diallo. He's not just filling gaps, he's becoming a serious threat. Quick, fearless, and decisive. Under Amorim, Amad looks like a player reborn. It's wild to think this was someone who barely got minutes before, but let's not ignore the injury nightmare. United haven't had a single week where they could say, we're at full strength. From Lisandro Martínez to Luke Shaw, from Højlund to Mount, it's been a revolving door of fitness issues. The Premier League run has been sabotaged by a lack of continuity. Amorim literally can't play the same 11 twice. He's stitching together lineups with academy kids, makeshift fullbacks, and out-of-position midfielders just to survive the fixture list. So how is it that this same team can dominate in Europe? It comes down to system and belief. Amorim has implemented a 3-4-3 formation with aggressive wingbacks, structured pressing, and fast transitions. It's not perfect yet, but it suits the players he has left. And when the tactics are clear, even second-choice players start to thrive. It's the kind of clarity that was completely missing at the start of the season. But it's not all roses. In the Premier League, United still lack that killer instinct. Set-piece defending? Still a disaster. Corners are like penalties for the other team. The team often goes flat in the second half of games, and substitutions don't always impact the rhythm positively. Plus, there's this sense that some players have mentally checked out of league games, banking everything on that Europa League trophy. So what the hell is going on with Manchester United this season? A lot. But it's not just bad news. If you've made it this far, hit that like button, drop your predictions for the Europa League final in the comments, and subscribe for more deep dives into the wild world of football.